What's going on, guys? It's the Absolute Answer, Nick Cutler, personal trainer right here at Full Spectrum Fitness in Crown Point. I'm here with former pro wrestler and current bodybuilder and personal trainer David Buchek with Bodies by Buchek, and we are going to give you a supplement review of Prekaged pre-workout. What are you guys looking for in a pre-workout? Are you guys a stim junkie? Are you guys looking for an overall muscle builder per se? We're going to help answer a lot of those questions today just by giving you guys a review of the Prekaged, our very first edition of Cutler's supplement review. So first thing you need to do, flip it over and look at that there ingredient label. What are you looking for in a pre-workout when you're taking it?
Half the time I just need mental focus, something that's gonna kind of thin my blood out a little bit so I could get more blood into the muscle that I'm training. I don't really want as much caffeine as I used to because I'm 29 and like caffeine doesn't do much, so the more I have the worse it is for me. So
what's your sweet spot for caffeine that you found over the years?
300 milligrams of caffeine is one bang, so I do one bang at 4 a.m. usually and then I'm done for the day. So
what time do you train? If you take your bang at 4 a.m., what time are you actually?
Sometimes I'll train at like 3 p.m. So 4 a.m. is the bang just because it's like a habit. I wake up, I drink all my water, take my vitamins, my sea moss.
So a lot of guys, me included,
Yeah.
it's almost a ritual for me to drink my pre-workout.
Yeah.
Like almost necessarily like I don't even need the caffeine anymore, but I need that taste, I need that 20 to 30 minutes that it takes for me to drink it, and it almost puts me into that mood that I need.
Puts you in a mental state, yes.
Exactly, which I guess at the end of the day is that mental clarity and that focus. That's what puts me in that area. But there's lots of ingredients that are going to be here and that help to do that as well. So if we break down each ingredient one by one, we have L-citrulline, 6.5 grams. What is citrulline? Citrulline is going to be a nitric oxide producer. Now what that does, similar to arginine, is it helps your body to produce more nitric oxide. What does nitric oxide do? Nitric oxide gets that blood to the muscles, gets those nutrients into the muscles for better recovery and better pumps. Now why citrulline? Why not arginine? Do you know?
You tell me, actually.
I will tell you.
I've been
Okay.
on the supplement game for a little bit.
There is actually an enzyme in your intestines called arginase that will actually break down arginine before it gets converted into nitric oxide. So your body only will actually absorb, I guess is the better word, a third of the arginine that you take. So if a clinical dose of arginine is 3 grams, to actually get that clinical dose of arginine, you're going to need to take at least 9 grams of arginine. And if you take 9 grams of arginine, you guys are going to shit your pants before you actually finish your workout. So let's think of a more productive way to do that. Citrulline. Citrulline gets readily converted into nitric oxide, but does not get broken down in your intestines like arginine, which is why when you actually look at pre-workouts nowadays, more and more and more of them are going to be using citrulline as opposed to arginine. You'll see a lot of them that actually use both, but to me, that's very, very counterproductive. Why are you going to use 2 ingredients to do the absolute same thing when one of them is clearly superior to the other?
I've heard too, I used to do this when I was probably like 19 or 20. I would take an emergency vitamin C packet and mix it with my pre-workout because vitamin C helps you absorb nitric oxide, right?
Absolutely. And another good thing about
There's no vitamin C in this. I don't know if that would help any absorption rate, but
well, vitamin C is also a natural source of citrulline too. So that's why a lot of people will say that they'll drink orange juice before they come in because they get those carbs, but then the citrulline that's in the orange juice will actually get converted into nitric oxide too. So ingredient second, quercetin. Not gonna lie, guys, I don't know why that's in there. It seems kind of foreign to me in a pre-workout. We go down here, muscle fuel matrix. What that pretty much is just branched chain amino acids, 3.5 grams, 1.7 grams of leucine, 870 milligrams of 75 of isoleucine, 875 milligrams of valine, and then you have.
they're fermented too. Fermented is the amino acid you want. They're made at. If they're not fermented, sometimes we don't know where they're coming from. They could be coming from horse hair, human hair, we're not really sure.
Sheep.
Fermented is probably a better source of amino acid.
Absolutely. And then an additional 3 grams of leucine. So what is the point of taking branched chain amino acids before you train, during you train, whatever the case may be? I'm going to let Dave give his opinion on it in just a second. But the big thing for me, the big thing that I believe in is that leucine can cause a slight amino spike, a slight insulin spike. So what's that going to do? All of these other ingredients that are in this pre-workout, with the help of that leucine, is going to get driven directly into your muscle cells because of that slight insulin spike right before you train. It's not going to be big enough where your blood sugar crashes, but it's enough to make sure that all of those nutrients get into your muscle cells a lot quicker, and your body is actually able to utilize them while you're actually training.
If your goal is to build muscle and we're tearing muscle fibers, aminos are very important. They're going to help the process of recovery. So the faster you recover, the faster you can grow, and then the faster you can train again. So if we're not tear, repair, and repeat. And we got the repair in here.
Beta-alanine, 1.6 grams. What does beta-alanine do? Beta-alanine gets converted into carnosine. What carnosine does in your muscle tissue is it helps to prevent the buildup of lactic acid. Lactic acid is what makes you get that burn while you're training. You guys are getting ready to see us both scream because of that burn that's going to be in our legs when we're training legs here in a second. Now, preventing that buildup is going to allow you to get more reps out of each set. It's going to allow you to get more sets in to actually lift more weight, hence build more muscle. Drawback. Clinical dose of beta-alanine is 2 to 4 grams. This only has 1.6 grams in it. So yeah, we're 90% of the way to the beginning of a clinical dose, but I would like to see a little bit more beta-alanine in there, at least 2 grams. Most pre-workouts nowadays, you're seeing 3.2. The only drawback of 3.2 is beta-alanine does have a slight flushing sensation. So when people sit there and they say that their skin itches or makes it feel the red face, it's a very uncomfortable thing. Beta-alanine has a cumulative effect, so the longer you take it, the less that happens, but a lot of people don't want to go through the first few days of actually taking it and allowing it to build up in their system because it's such an uncomfortable feeling. But the lower the dose, the less that happens, so a 1.6 gram dose is still going to give you some benefits without actually making your face feel like it's on fire. Right below that, betaine, which is an altered amino acid that is going to help increase power output. Creatine hydrochloride, 1.5 grams. Creatine gets converted into ATP, adenosine triphosphate. If caffeine is what makes humans feel like they have energy, ATP is what does that for the muscles.
Muscle energy.
Drawback. Clinical dose of hydrochloride is going to be 2 grams pre and 2 grams post. So again, you're getting slightly less than what a clinical dose would be right here in this pre-workout for Prekaged. Right below that, we just have some coconut powder, and that's going to help with staying hydrated. Go down a little bit further. We got 2 grams of taurine, 1 gram of tyrosine. The taurine-tyrosine combo is absolutely fantastic when it comes to mental focus. That is what is going to give you that tunnel vision, bullet forward. You're not paying attention to anything else. Your wife's problems, your kids' problems, your work problems. None of that is going to matter if you get a good dose of both of those before you train. You are going to be focusing on nothing but the task at hand, and that is exactly what you want.
I got a question. If that's the case, can I just drink it all day?
Absolutely. A lot of people do that. No, I'll be drinking pre-workout out of a shaker cup throughout the day, and people will be like, that's your pre-workout. Why are you drinking that? Why am I going to spend $3 on a can of Monster, which is, it lists all these ingredients. It's similar to Bang, but if you look at a Bang's label, it doesn't tell you how much creatine or how much amino acids or how much CoQ10 or how much of any of those ingredients are in there, because they are in such small amounts. They don't legally have to list how much is on there. Whereas I could pay whatever this is, $1.75 a serving, and actually get good ingredients that are not only going to do my muscles good, but they're going to do my mind good. So if I'm sitting at my office working on my computer and I need to be able to actually sit and focus on that, the taurine, the tyrosine, or you could just take taurine and tyrosine by itself if you don't want the caffeine, which brings us around to the caffeine. 274 milligrams. My sweet spot is typically 300. 300 is that dose that gives me a good kick in the ass, but does not crash me down. I've noticed that if I go over 300 milligrams at a time, I get a really, really, really bad headache about a half hour afterwards. Less than 300 milligrams, it's hit or miss. I may feel good enough to train, I may not. It all depends.
Too much caffeine, I feel like you could be oversensitized. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, the cause for the headaches with caffeine, your blood vessels are thinning up, right? Mm-hmm. But too much of that could cause a headache. So you kind of got to find what your right dose is and work with that.
Supplement tip, guys. Take the scoop out of the tub, put the lid back on, and shake the entire tub. Caffeine is a naturally lighter molecule, so when that powder settles during shipment, during production, that caffeine powder is going to rise up to the top. You'll get a lot of guys sit there and say, man, I was taking so-and-so pre-workout and it worked great for like 3 weeks and then I just didn't get anything off of it anymore. That's because you weren't shaking the tub and you were literally going through all of that caffeine within the first few scoops and you felt amazing, and then boom, you're getting nothing but creatine and beta-alanine and things that are still going to help your body train, but it's not going to give you that kick in the ass that people are actually looking for. So make sure you do that. The flavor we have today is Berry Blast. Now you get a lot of guys that will sit there and they'll try to stir their pre-workout with a spoon, or they'll go straight to the dome with the powder. That is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. You want these ingredients to actually get dissolved into the solution of water so your body is better capable to actually absorb those ingredients. Going straight to the dome, number one, I tried that one time and I almost inhaled it and choked. So
yeah,
there's a safety hazard there. Number two, it's just science. You want those ingredients to actually be able to be absorbed. And with this having amino acids in it, even if you did want to try to just stir it with a spoon, amino acids tend to foam up really, really bad. So if you go and try to stir it in a glass, that foam's going to rise to the top, you're going to get it on your face, and it's going to be a very, very, very uncomfortable situation. So I suggest a blender bottle. Flavor is Berry Blast. When I read that, when I bought this, I'm sitting there thinking like apple or strawberry or something similar to that, and then the stuff turned orange when I shook it. It is, and you want to look for, in my opinion, a scoop that's about that size.
Because it's got more ingredients, it's got aminos in it and stuff?
Exactly. Okay. People will look at something like Prekaged, which costs $39.99 for a 20-serving tub, and they're like, that's not even a month's supply. But if you stop and you look, you don't have to buy amino acids, you don't have to buy creatine, you don't have to buy all these other things because it's already all included in here. It's an overall muscle-building pre-workout. Before you guys go starting rumors, I am not a Gryffindor, I am a Slytherin. This is my wife's shaker cup.
I've learned so much in 4 minutes. So if I learned a lot in 4 minutes, I hope the viewers are paying attention, because
you learned a lot in 4 minutes, and you've been doing this for how many years now?
Yeah. I've just been getting away from the supplements, you know.
And why?
Well, pretty much when you broke down all these, I'm like, why wouldn't they just put the clinical dose of all of them in one? So usually I try to buy my own, the pure ingredient, and mix my own pre-workouts. I do that sometimes.
And you get a lot of people that do that because unfortunately the supplement companies, despite what they may say, do not have your best interests at heart. There are a handful, I would say, that come out with really good and quality products, and that is the purpose of this channel, is to bring those to the forefront so you guys can look at those and say, hey, this is something that I can actually use and that I can trust. And we're also going to bring those shitty ones to the forefront and say, hey, this is nothing but hype. For instance, if you see a pre-workout like this with a huge scoop, like we just showed you guys, and then we look at another pre-workout where the scoop is about this size, what is that really going to be giving you? Probably not a whole lot of anything except a ton of stimulants.
Probably the reason I stopped taking pre-workout is because I love all of them, and for probably about 5 years, I would have to have it. If I didn't have it before training, I'd start wigging out. Because this, to me, this stuff is addictive.
It is, you know? It really is.
And your body kind of takes it, and it makes you somewhat feel good for the training, and then you want to feel like that longer. So sometimes just be conscious of your dosage, and eventually one scoop's not going to do it. So you want 1.5, and then you're taking 2, and then you're like, damn, now you need to flip to another, pre-workout. So I guess that's my reasoning why I've kind of stopped, is because there's so many of them. I don't want to have to put the mental focus in
to decide which one you want to take.
I'm just like, man, I'm going to have to take a pre-workout to read about pre-workout to know which one to get. So
do the honors.
All right. You know what? I really was hesitant. I didn't really want to take pre-workout this morning, but after hearing him talk for 5 minutes, I'm really craving it right now. So
let's give it a whirl.
I'm 29, and I used to take this all the time when I was 19. So here we go. It's good. He mixes his with water. Usually, I used to just throw it back.
Straight to the dome. That's why I said that.
That tastes much better with water than just with powder. So
here we go. Cheers, guys. Berry Blast. Here's the thing. It doesn't taste bad, but it doesn't taste like beer to me at all. This almost tastes like an orange juice, which is actually very, very good if you're like me and you train first thing in the morning. It's almost like you're getting caffeinated orange juice, but the flavor is definitely a little bit different. But I would say if we're looking on a scale of 1 to 10, we're looking at the flavor in just the sense of whether it tastes good or not, the ingredient profile as far as what it actually gives you, and then let's take it even a step further and look what the actual cost is. What is a decent price nowadays? This we're looking at $1.99 per serving.
Per serving.
Tastes good, but it doesn't taste like how it says it should do, so I would give it a 3 out of 5 for the taste. The ingredient profile, it has amazing ingredients in it, but at the same point in time, a couple of them are a little bit underdosed, so I would say a 3 out of 5 for the ingredient profile. Price, if you look anyplace else, $39.99 for a 20 serving fully dosed clinical pre-workout is actually pretty standard, and I'm willing to pay $40 a month for that. So I would say price point is pretty on hand. There's actually some that are, you know, $42.99 or $45.99 for a 20 serving tab. If I'm paying more than $40 for a type of pre-workout, it better, you know, grow the muscle for me.
Yeah.
And none of them do that. So I'm gonna say the price point is gonna be a 5, with it being right there at that sweet spot of $39.99. So if you guys want to go ahead and give Prekaged a try, you guys can get it at GNC. You guys can get it at tigerfitness.com using my personal affiliate link.
You said tigerfitness.com wrong. One more time.
tigerfitness.com. Located in the bio of all of my social media platforms. The social media platforms, Facebook, nick.cutler.50, Twitter at Cutler Coalition, Instagram, Cutler Coalition 88, Snapchat, NCUTLER8869. Bodies by Buchek on Facebook, David Buchek, just his personal page on Facebook. Make sure you guys stay tuned. We're gonna have supplement reviews, we're gonna have training footage, we're gonna have meal footage to show you guys what you should and should not be eating pre-training, post-training, throughout the day when you're sitting on your ass watching TV. Where guys are gonna have all the content right here, including wrestling footage as well. There's no place else to go if you guys want the best advice, the best entertainment, at your best value, free.
Free. Free 99.
Free 99, I like that. Take it easy, guys.